podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll, and tonight I'm joined by my very good friends. First of all, we've got Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy, and we also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. Are we big enough to be a coven? How many do you need for a coven?
I think we need more.
I think two more. I think we need at least 4. I think
right?
4 would be enough for
I
a
think
coven.
I think you're supposed to make like a pentagram. I think that's what it is.
Coven.
Gotcha.
All right, well, we are here to review Agatha, Coven of Chaos. No, sorry, House of Harkness. Wait, that's right, Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
Did I miss any names?
I think there was one more in there.
Yeah, it probably was, huh? But yeah, exciting to have some more Marvel content. Only the second project of the year.
Yeah, that's wild.
So we're in September, and whether you think Marvel's been good or bad since Endgame, and it's mostly been bad, or at least below average, with a sprinkling of good, 1 or 2 excellent things, and a lot of hot garbage. One thing's for sure, them doing just Deadpool 3 and then Agatha, just doing 2 projects, 1 show, 1 movie, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think they just needed to do a bit of a cleanse, just kind of like reset their minds.
Right.
You know?
So, but we're here to review it. Excited to talk some more Marvel with you guys. For the next few weeks, we will be reviewing this show. They dropped 2 episodes on Disney Plus, so we had to watch 2. I'm not even going to try to get the names of the episodes because they were different. Motto, you could look them up if you want to. But they were about 40-something minutes, each of them.
Yep.
And what were the titles?
Seekest thou the road?
Yeah.
And circle sown with fate / unlock the hidden gate. Hidden gate.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not going to try
And that's why I wasn't going to try it.
gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into reviewing these 2 episodes, just want to shout out the community. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We want to please remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen and follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod. You can also share this podcast with your friends. If you got any Marvel friends who you want to share this podcast with, that's the best way you can help us, along with leaving us a wonderful, well-thought-through, polite 5-star review on Apple. So, guys, let's get into it. Here's the spoiler warning. You have been warned. Let's just share briefly overall thoughts for the first 2 episodes. This show has gotten somewhat of mixed reviews from critics.
Yeah.
So, how did that affect you coming into the first 2 episodes, and what did you think of the first 2?
Well, I think for me, it's set the bar low, and so
Which helps.
It helps. It does.
Yeah, it
because
does.
I went in with like very, very low expectations.
Me
and
too.
I saw one reviewer was like, "This is like the worst property ever." And I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
hold on, we've had some
Have you seen
snoozers."
Secret
Yeah.
Invasion?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Way
yeah.
better than that.
It's
She-Hulk, you know?
Yeah, there's some bad stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay, here we go. And then I turned it on, and as the episode progressed, like from the start, I'm like, okay, and then we finally got to a point where I was like, you know what, this is okay. This is not bad. This is watchable. That kind of thing. Like, I fully expected to be like, I'm gonna DNF this. There's like, I don't know.
We were talking about not even reviewing it with
Yeah,
some of
just
the
like
reviews.
destroying it.
Correct. Yeah.
So, Amato?
Yeah, I would say like it's almost like you sent that same review to us, and like the first like 15 minutes or so of the first episode, I was leaning a little bit in that direction because it was a little bit grating. It was a little bit. There was something off about it, and of course, there's supposed to be something kind of off about it, but it was also just it wasn't quite hitting for me, and for me, what I was kind of thinking of after that, and I went and started watching it. I did start to enjoy it a lot better. Episode 2, I felt like was a significant step up from episode 1, and towards the end of episode 1 was a significant step up from the beginning of episode 1. So I almost feel like whoever wrote that review watched like the first like 10 to 15 minutes, turned it off, and then pretended like he watched.
So here's what I'm nervous about that review. That review said they got to see the first 4 episodes. So
yeah.
if they're being honest, that means there's 2 more. Like it could get way worse.
It's possible that it could get worse, and we've seen shows do that before.
Yeah.
But through 2, I don't see it being that awful. Like,
Right, me
like
too.
to me, it doesn't make sense for how like, you know, scathing that review was,
Right.
unless he like turned it off after like the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's again. I mentioned Secret Invasion earlier, but let's not forget it was either certainly episode 1, maybe 2 or 3. The first few episodes of Secret Invasion, I remember us being like, "Yo, this is amazing."
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
And then
It was 2.5.
Two and a half.
That's what it was.
And then it just fell off a literal cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, it sounds like you guys are mostly positive.
Yeah. For the most part.
Posi-
Okay. Yeah.
Positively and optimistic.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. I think I'm relatively optimistic about it. I will say something that is fun. Here's one thing I like about it. Okay, mystery.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I,
That's always fun.
yeah, like I think that's really good for us doing a review.
Yeah.
And I'll admit the first episode, most of it, I was like,
What is going
I
on?
was watching it with my wife. I was watching with Courtney, and I'm like, literally, she was like sharp. She's like saying all these things and like catching all these people from WandaVision, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
from the same town. I'm like, what? Like I was not in it.
Yeah.
But I literally was like, is this another WandaVision, like a TV show?
Yeah.
Because even the intro credits were like,
It was Agnes.
Yeah, it was all the names of them inside of Westview.
exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, is this happening?
And then the title
again?
of the opening title was like Westview something. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
was,
like in like part of the Wanda Vision, but it was Vision. It was spelled weirdly.
Yeah.
dude, it was freaking me out. I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
are we having another?
It makes sense because like if you remember where she was left off, she was essentially left in this like feedback loop
Yeah.
of her, like that Wanda had left her in, you know, to where she was kind of like supposed to be living this life as essentially a like a bland person,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Basically, like trapped in her caricature of that she played in the neighborhood, like kind
Right.
of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was confused in the opening. I really was. I was
Really
legitimately. I was
confused.
like, okay. I'm seeing and feeling like cop drama going on here, but I don't remember Agatha
Yeah.
doing it. And then when I saw the title screen, and I was like, okay, these are all native people. Like,
I was so confused
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning that I was like, okay, I remember she's been a witch for like centuries. But then I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe she was just a cop in Westview. Like I was that's how they got me. They
Yeah.
always get me. They
Yeah.
always get me. Those
yeah, we
sons of
probably should have
guns.
done a refresher and watched like
Probably
at least the
should've.
last couple episodes of WandaVision,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
didn't. Instead, so we
We're
rolled
never
into
that
this
prepared, ladies and gentlemen.
one. No, never. You're always getting our second hand.
Just
here.
raw reactions.
Yeah, but no, I was a little intrigued. She did play up in a cheesy way the gritty detective.
It was so
It
bad
was
though.
yeah, it was.
When
like I
she's in the
said,
interrogation scene and she like
Oh,
clicks the
yeah.
pen,
Yep.
it just
The
felt like
interrogation scene was
Her
rough.
chewing of the gum.
honestly, she's a great actor, but it felt
Oh, yeah,
like
she is.
I was watching like acting 1 class at like my
Yeah,
university.
like she was chewing wallpaper. Like that was.
Yeah.
And if I want to go ahead and like kind of like reset you guys' mind, like I think that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
Yeah.
Even when later on when she's like peeling back the layers and she ends up back as her normal like Agatha self, she kind of has a conversation with like Herbert, and she's like,
she's naked.
she's like, yeah, she's naked, and she's like. So I've been just like forcing you guys to act or pretend like that, and he's like, we kind of just went along with you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
She put that on, like she saw
Yeah.
herself in that true crimey
Yeah.
type stuff, and she played it up and like she hammed it up for the cameras,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so I think it was supposed to be that way.
Yeah, it was so bad though. It was I don't know, like I understand that like as I was watching it, and maybe if I were to go back and watch the episode knowing like 100% that that's where it was going at the very beginning, I might be more lenient of it, but it was so like she was chewing up the scenery like nobody's business through that entire beginning, and it was just like it was hard to watch. Like it was,
for sure.
yeah, it was not fun.
So let's get into the the plot of it all. All right. So she is stuck in this trance still,
Yes.
and a couple different witches show up in her world, trying to get her out of it. One of them we don't know what her name is, but it's played by what's the girl's name?
Aubrey Plaza.
That's right. Okay.
I will say, like, there are a couple of actresses in this show that I'm particularly enjoy, and like I'm really happy that they're getting more opportunities here.
Yeah.
I love Catherine Hahn as a side character. I've never really seen her like take on a leading role, so it'd be interesting to see her here.
Right.
But
That's fair.
she's usually just like this. Oh, she is like the male version of like the super zany, crazy person. Like she fits that role. Like she's one of the few female actresses that really like does that role. And then of course like Aubrey Plaza, phenomenal in Parks and Rec, and seeing her really show up is good. And then just Sahir Zanata was a long time, or at least a couple of season member of SNL. So like I like to see her being able to reemerge as something as well.
Yeah. I'm mostly positive, but they're trying to get her out of this spell.
Yeah.
Right. From Wanda. I mean, I'm trying to remember, the lines feel a little blurred for me between episodes 1 and 2. I guess by the end of episode 1, she's out of it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So let's just talk. Anything that's worth? I feel like the best stuff was in episode 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
But is there anything you guys want to talk about?
Okay.
From episode
So
1?
like the big thing was like there's a dead body, and
Yes.
Right,
in this fake world that she's living in, and we discover that the body meets all the descriptions for Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, and she initially says like how is she killed, and she was crushed. Like kind of going back to Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, where she was crushed by pillars or whatever the heck she was crushed by. And then, I mean, is that stamping and solidifying that Wanda is officially dead, or is that just kind of like
all right, first speculation.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I think they really like kind of play the lines there.
they do.
Because
Yes.
very, very much. Because like first, when they show the toe tag, it says, when they do the reveal of who it is, it's Wanda Maximoff. But then on top of that, they also have Agatha Harkness's name. So it's like, but Agatha Harkness isn't dead
Yet, maybe.
Yet.
I think it's a foreshadow. It could be.
It could be a foreshadow, or it could be saying that maybe this was the death of them inside of Westview. This was them, breaking out of that Westview universe, and now they're dead in the sense of that universe has been, or that bubble has been has been pushed aside, and now they are outside of the lives they were living inside the dome, and now they can move on and do other things.
Yeah.
Or it could mean that she's actually dead, or it could be the fact that, I mean, essentially, wasn't Agatha burned at the stake at one point in the first season? You get to see that moment, and like she kind of comes out of it.
Flashback, yeah.
So it could be there. That's what they're saying in that, and that would also make sense why her name would be on top and then Wanda's would be down below, because she would technically, unquote unquote, died first.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I feel like there's a lot of things that could be played there in that sense. And it's really interesting. I really did love Aubrey Plaza's like tugging at the like the lines of like what she was trying to pull her out of the thing. It reminded me a lot of like almost like Shutter Island, where Mark Ruffalo was kind of like working with Leonardo DiCaprio's character about like in this moment and not being in the right mental state.
Trying to bring them back to reality.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and when one of you guys mentioned how Herb was like, yeah, well, we kind of just went along with it, and now that just makes sense. Like, it wasn't actual magic that's keeping her here, from the way I'm interpreting it. Maybe it was at the beginning, but it had faded. And like when she's at the library and like the lady at the counter is
Dottie,
Dottie. She's like actually annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like magic making that all happen, but I'm like, oh no, I think Dottie, which that's not her real name, I think it's like Sarah, but I think Dottie's character is like she's pretending to be Dottie to just appease this Agnes lady, because the whole town is like they went through something traumatic altogether, and they're
just like this person hasn't like come out of it yet.
Yeah.
Like they're like she is broken to a point of like beyond repair, and they they have this connection with her because they went through this group trauma, and they know what it's like to have this person inside their head at all times, and they're just trying to help her cope with what's going on.
Right.
And even though it may seem a little crazy, that's their way of helping her out by hoping that, maybe she'll come out of it at some point, but at the moment, this is what she may need to find her way back to herself.
Yeah. And at some point during during her investigation of this fake thing, the teen shows up.
Yes.
And she arrests him, and then and when she comes out of it, she's like, "Oh, I didn't book you. I kidnapped you." That kind of thing. And then but we're left with who's the teen, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's looking for the Witch's Road, and that's kind of how
Yes.
episode 1 ends. And it kind of catapults the storyline, the plot moving forward through episode 2.
That was actually in 2, and that reveal was
The start of episode 2.
It's got to be,
Yeah.
because he was tied up for a big part of episode 2.
Yeah.
The first time he mentioned it, he still had tape on his mouth. So, but yeah, this is where the fun begins in my mind.
Yes.
I didn't mind episode 1. I thought it was.
No, I didn't either.
I feel like the back half was significantly more entertaining than the front half. Though.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. The meat is in episode 2.
Yes.
Where they do talk about Witch's Road very throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the teen, which I'm going to refer to him as the teen until they actually
They didn't give him a name yet.
reveal
Yeah,
his name.
they haven't.
Well,
Oh, that's right. Dude, what is that about?
Well, they did. They casted him, and they said who he's playing already. So we all know.
No. Okay, well, first of all, I don't. But secondly, she doesn't. That's what I'm getting
Right,
at.
because of the stitches go over
So
his
what
mouth.
is?
Yes.
That is another thing. I'm like, what does that mean?
It has to do with Wanda. That's what it has to do. I mean,
You could tell me. It's fine.
he's Wiccan is his name, and
Oh,
he is the son of Wanda Maximoff.
So how? But
Yeah, see, Heroes
the
gonna be
math
so
isn't
confused.
checking out.
He's a magically conceived child. So what do you mean the math doesn't check out? It's magic, dude. Why, he's grown up? Is that what you're talking
Yeah, in
about?
this universe, first of all, there isn't a Wiccan, right?
No.
So
Well, she created them in WandaVision.
no, but I thought they faded away when the hex faded away.
They went into they did. They disappeared.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they don't exist anymore.
But somehow they're going to, I promise you.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. That's part of the
the-
story. That's why
yeah,
they're
I
not
mean,
revealing it.
They have a whole multiverse set up. So
Yeah.
there could be some sort of crossover.
Which they existed in a multiverse that Doctor
So
Strange
you
went
think
to. So.
Wiccan's trying to get to the end of the road to get his mom back?
Probably, yeah. And even when he was telling the story in the car,
Yeah.
she couldn't hear what the story was saying because it has to do with Wanda.
Yeah.
So
But why wouldn't she be able to hear it?
because there's apparently a hex or a curse on him or her that won't allow. I think it's on him.
Yeah.
Like we can't give
But
information out.
she hasn't
to protect him.
She hasn't revealed that. Like she hasn't informed him that she can't hear him when he's talking about his story.
Correct. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
I think it's more in this moment. I think it's two things. I think number one, she just straight up does not care about him.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
I think that's
This
literally
is my
like
pet.
I think that's part of it is
Say
like
hi, pet.
is that literally it's like that. And number two, like anything that she does care about, I don't think she wants to reveal that information because she doesn't want there to be she I don't know if she 100% knows if what's ever going on is something that he is doing or something that somebody else is doing. So she doesn't want to bring attention to it
yeah.
at the moment. For anything that she actually is paying attention to in these moments. So she obviously is, from everything that we've seen of her, she's a loner. From the entire first season of WandaVision, she's a loner.
Yeah, nobody
ev-
likes her.
Yeah, nobody really likes her. Even going back to her original coven, we see she steals like all their power.
Yeah.
And then even in this one, she obviously she's always pushing the other members of Westview away, unless she 100% needs something from them.
Right.
All the witches that she meets, she's pushing them away. She's keeping them at arm's distance all over the place, except for the fact that she needs them. Like everything about it is about keeping everyone at arm's distance so that they don't really get to know her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're set off on this road, like this journey to get to the road, and it has to do with you need a coven to get there,
Yep.
and
Team building.
yep, team building. Let's assemble the crew. The
Gonna
cast.
need a montage.
Which,
and I
it
think
was an extended montage.
I
but-
think it would have been better if it was more montage style.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because like I don't know, I didn't mind the characters that they're recruiting. I think the characters that they're recruiting on their team are interesting.
Yeah, there's some there. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's still a lot to build there.
Yeah, there's a lot to build there. There could be some excitement there, but I do think it would have been, I think it would have been better. The music hits, they're going through recruiting all these people. They take a shot at Magic Mind, and they just get after it. You know what I'm saying? They're recruiting their team. They're trying to make it the best coven, the best coven on this side of the Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? But they should have used some Magic Mind.
That could have got him
Yeah.
a long way, actually.
She's lost her power.
Yep.
Guess what she needs? Magic Mind.
Magic Mind. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's probably stressed right now, and
definitely
the
stressed.
clean ingredients of Magic Mind, like ashwagandha, it would definitely help reduce the stress. Like I know for me personally, like work week, I use it primarily like middle of the day after the lunch break, because like your mind's still kind of like, oh man, okay, I just got done with half the day, and I got the other half of the day, and like and you're stressing out now, like all the work you got to get done before you go home for the day. And I'm like, you know what, Magic Mind it, and just I've been telling you, man, the clean ingredients in this shot, this mental performance shot, it does a trick because it clears up all that fog, and the stress just kind of just fades away. And like I had a buddy of mine reach out to me, Chuck, and
Shout out Chuck.
he actually purchased the Magic Mind using our code, and he specifically texted me. It's like, hey, this stuff actually works. It really works. And he said, you guys are not lying. And I'm like, of course not, dude. Like I believe in this product. Like I wouldn't be here on this podcast pumping this product out to you. Magic Mind, it works. And Chuck said that he was just having a rough day, like foggy day. Like he couldn't just get going to start his day, and so he remembered, oh shoot, like I got to do these free trial Magic Minds. And so he took his shot, and then he said within like 15-20 minutes his mind cleared up and he was able to focus and get done with the tasks that he had to get done for the rest of the day. And I was like, dude, thank you for sharing that, because I really want to hear
awesome,
that testimony going on here, because like I said, I was speaking I think for all of us here, we believe in this performance shot.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And hey, listen, if you want to be like Chuck and you want to give it a try, here's what you need to do. Go to magicmind.com/RoyalPod40. Then when you're there, you're going to check out and you are going to use the promo code RoyalPod40. Here's what that's going to do. It's going to give you legitimately 40% off of your subscription. Now, this is only available to the first 10 people that do it, okay? magicmind.com/RoyalPod40. Use that code RoyalPod40. If you're one of the first 10 people to get your subscription, you will get your subscription for 40% off. So, big shout out to Chuck. Big shout out to Magic Mind. And let's continue talking about this team that they put together. Agatha's trying to recruit her own coven.
Yeah. Like what I would say is like I know you said you like the idea of like the montage scene, but the thing is, I don't think a montage scene like the way that you were thinking traditionally would work with her, because of the fact that so much establishment of her
It's probably true.
not getting along with characters.
Disliked, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Because traditionally, like the montage is like there is this very charismatic person who's going out there and essentially drawing in people from his past with their charisma and the loyalty they have to them. And none of these people have any loyalty to her or
Maybe even
or
hate
like
her.
believe in her charisma.
Yeah.
Like she has like essentially anti-charisma, like to the
Yeah.
like people are naturally disliking of her essentially.
And I did find it very interesting that she's forming a coven and they need specific kinds of witches.
Yes.
So like they go to
Yeah.
the like witch of prophecy
Yeah,
first.
divination.
Divination. There you go. And that kind of leads them on the journey to different kinds, and then we get a potion
Yes.
master type of witch, and then I forget what the
girl from
security
Hot
guard.
Topic?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget what her specialty was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind
Yeah.
of special
They
it was.
didn't emphasize it as clear as the other two.
Yes,
I will say that. They were more focused on how that character lost her mom.
Yes.
I think on the road.
Yes, the mom. No, yeah, or essentially the mom is
To the road
To the
is what I
road,
think
yeah.
it was.
Oh, is
I don't
that
think
right?
she was on the road because I think her skepticism about the realism of the road, I think, was real. But I think she
Wait, maybe it was something. I don't know the technical term. Wasn't it something like she was born of a witch, but it hasn't like become one yet, or something
that's
like
right.
that?
Yeah, she's a legacy. That's
A
what
legacy?
it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
so
think
then,
it's
yeah,
that-
that's the type of witch she is. She's
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
because she's
Yeah.
hasn't quite tapped into it yet.
Yeah, I think essentially what happened is her mom probably got lost on the road, and she doesn't believe in that. She's like
Yeah.
probably heard some of that stuff, but she doesn't believe that it actually exists.
Yeah.
And I think she just thinks that like it was some sort of story that was maybe told to her, and that it just was like a
Yeah.
fable of
She's
some
like
sort.
denying all of it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then like the funny thing is like well we still need a green witch like Black Heart or whatever something like that,
Yeah.
which Aubrey Plaza's character referenced in the first episode saying like her Black Heart something like
Yes.
or no, it was probably the beginning of the
Agatha
second
said
episode
you're
where
Yeah,
they're
it was
fighting.
the
Yeah.
first episode, I believe, because it was when they were fighting in the house. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And
Right.
so like she's like, well, I have somebody, and then she like leaves and goes to Miss Hart, who
Yes.
that's her like fake town name, but
Right.
Yes.
she goes to her, and I love
Deborah Jo Rupp.
Yep, I just love it, Kitty. I love it.
Yes.
And brings her over when she's as clueless as ever.
And again, she's probably trying to stay in character to help Agnes.
yeah, yeah.
So she's like, "Yeah, I'll do
Party,
a party,"
yeah.
and you feel so bad for the Green
Yeah.
Witch.
And then like
man.
they get down into the basement area, and she's like, "Are we doing laundry together?"
Yeah.
Like, but then they go into the song, which honestly,
song.
a very catchy song.
yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Very catchy song. When she started singing, I was like, okay, okay. And then they all chime in, and I'm like,
And
dude.
it was like it was about 3 or 4 times longer than I thought it was going to
Oh
be.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, it was a bop, man. Like I was
Yeah.
down with it.
Yeah,
man.
they were going.
And meanwhile, upstairs, the teen Wiccan.
Yeah, we'll call him Teen for now. We'll look.
Teen.
Yeah, we won't stress your mind too much.
Yeah, thank
okay. You forgot to take your magic mind today. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I need for sure. I actually did forget.
I have reload stock in the bag.
Good,
So,
good.
but anyway, like the teen is up there dealing with literally like the Salem 7. Like they,
Oh, my
dude,
gosh.
how creepy.
Very
Yes.
When he's in the middle of the road.
when they spread out.
Yes, the way
Yeah.
they do it too, the way the camera shoots this is incredible.
Yeah.
Freaking,
Like I had to watch this. Good thing I was watching this during the day. Like it was freaking me out, man.
yeah, and there's the way they tilted their heads and they like walked forward.
You
I
got
was
to
like,
see one of their faces too.
ooh,
Yeah,
veiled,
just
right? It was
barely.
veiled,
Yeah,
veiled.
Freaky,
And
freaky.
he's getting like mauled in the house, and he has to like he runs down there.
Wait, real quick. Herb was out there. He's like, "You seeing this?"
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you could almost just see he's like,
Well, I felt really bad for Herb. I thought
yeah,
Herb
me
was
too.
gonna
be a casualty.
it.
Yeah.
yeah, like I felt like he was a goner. Thankfully, like he did. It seems like he got away.
Yeah. It
Yeah, I
does.
think
It
he
does.
But I felt really bad for him for a moment because I felt like this was gonna be like,
Yeah.
like this is how they're gonna show the stakes of what's happening, and we're gonna
Right,
knock off
yeah.
Herb.
But they like finish their song and nothing happens, and so like Agatha does what she does best, and it's like she turns on everybody, and it's like trying to make them all mad, and she's
Yeah.
like, "No, don't do it." She's trying to use her powers against her so she can gain her powers.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, which was really cool because they do drop that line early in the second episode when
Yeah.
she's talking to the divination witch about how that's how she gets she gets powers is by by having people
Steals,
attack her. So like it was a cool like reminding of this is how it happens. Like if you had forgotten that in WandaVision that she got stronger as she was attacked.
Yeah.
Like it was a slight like reminder like, hey, this is what happens, and then it ends up being something that she 100% plays on later in the episode.
Yeah, but when the teen runs down the stairs, the door is there, and they walk on in. So my question to you is that they needed the witches to go open the door, right?
Yeah.
Is Mrs. Hart actually a witch and doesn't know it? Because
So-
would the doors have opened if it was a illegitimate witch?
Okay, so what I'm going to say is it wasn't until Wiccan showed up. So I think he is the final witch.
Okay.
That
Okay.
will like take that spot, and that's why it didn't open up earlier.
and I feel like when they say green witch, it just means they're green. Doesn't
like new, like
It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be that.
Yeah.
I
Like a
mean,
rookie.
rookie
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like, and they even talked about like earth magic or something,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
to me means like no magic. It's just I literally think they just need to bring a human, which if you think about the concept of that, is really like jacked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
she is in
sacrificial lamb.
She is in so much danger right now because
Yeah.
she's a nice lady.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and she also has no idea what's going
No
on.
clue what's
Earth
happening.
could have also referred to like Mrs. Hart in the garden. She was good with the flowers. And
Yeah, well, I think that's what they were
Maybe.
playing
Yeah,
at.
that's what they were
Like,
thinking.
I think that's what they were
leaning
playing
hard
at,
into.
and she had that name, which I think that was really cool that they
Clever,
Okay, I can
very
see
clever.
that.
Yeah.
But also, I think I'll have to go watch it. I don't think everyone's hand was on a handle. And they made it for a moment. They made it look like they all had to open it together, and then I think it looked like not everyone had grabbed it yet.
I think it was Miss Hart didn't grab it.
yeah, I don't
she's
think
the
it's
only
as
one.
big of a deal.
Okay. But then they go down the
door was
stairs.
just heavy, you know?
And I love how Mrs. Hart on the way down, she's singing the song because it was catchy.
yeah,
She's like,
exactly.
down the road.
She's just all upbeat.
Yep. I do love that. Like, it's just, it's
You know
refreshing.
what it feels like is kind of like Deadpool when he puts the X-Force or whatever, or what's it called?
Yeah, putting X-Force together.
Yeah,
Yes.
just like Peter.
Yeah.
This is Peter. again.
Yeah, who just kind of like goes along with it. He's a normal person.
Yep.
All the other
Like-
witches are kind of negative. Like, obviously,
They're all
they're
well,
witches.
dude, they're just and they're all kind of
the low parts of their
disliking
life.
of her.
disenfranchised by
Yeah.
the witch world, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially of Agatha.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they really are like,
Yeah.
I don't really want to deal with you.
But so then they go and they end up at Witch's Road, and I do find it. I found it interesting where Agatha's just like, "Oh yeah, I never doubted us for a second. And
Yeah.
then like everyone's like kind of like the eye roll, and the teen is like following her every lead and every word, which I did find it an interesting theme throughout the episode when like he's just doing what he does, and he's interacting with her as if she's like a mentor kind of, and like he's
Yeah.
trying to learn from her. He's like asking her questions and
She
stuff,
is
and she's
so
like shutting him
disinterested.
down. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
honestly, the teen, I like the teen character. Like he was us as the audience, like trying to unravel like what's going on.
Welcome Coven when he had the little
Yes,
banners.
yes. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't mind Teen at all. I don't know. I'm looking forward to see where that character goes, and I hope it does not disappoint me. Like I feel
Yeah.
like I have a feeling though it could be a huge drop off though.
You know what I really liked about the teen is I can't wait till we can just say a name, but like the way when they're doing the recruiting, like especially with I think Jen's character, the candle lady,
Yeah.
the potions, how like he's like I'm such a big fan of you on Instagram, but like what about these charges? And it's like he was like really clever and savvy, and like and almost you could tell Agatha was like impressed, but she didn't like want to show it,
Right, yeah.
You know, like in the moment while they were in the candle shop, she was like pretty impressed with what he did, but you almost want him to get a little validation from her, like that was good work, you know, Rook,
Yeah,
or something
like that.
and just nothing.
Yeah, but like he follows her lead on the
does.
road and
Yeah.
removes the shoes when she removes her shoes.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Oh well, Agatha survived the road, so she obviously knows there's something coming that you don't want to have shoes on for, or something like that. Because
yeah,
apparently, like it's really hard to like leave the road, and Agatha's one of the people who actually done it. Which I have a feeling it's gonna be revealed that she actually didn't finish the road. Like somehow she got out on a fluke or something.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think.
Yeah. Back to the team for a second. The issue that I could see with this character is that I see him falling into
Too ignorant.
now. Well, yes, it could be part of that. It's he has feelings of the chosen one trope, which can be incredibly grating. It's like there are definitely parts of that trope that I could see playing into him that I don't particularly like. Like I don't like the idea of like them just falling into solutions.
Yeah.
So like when they were in the shop, I actually found that a little
candle shop?
grating.
Convenient. That
Yes,
he
a
had
little
to-
bit convenient. Like essentially, the parts of the chosen one that I don't like are like the Deus Ex Machina moments of them, where they're just like they always have they have the solution, but there really isn't like a
reason how they got
reason
there.
why they're there.
I think the chosen one aspect that you're talking about, there's some of that actually with him in the comic books as
Yeah.
far as his character is on the page.
Yeah.
So but not fully. He's not fully the chosen one, but there's
Yeah.
aspects to his character where you can see like he does kind of have that chosen one aspects.
I just hope he earns what he gets. Because that's another part of the chosen one that I'm not a huge fan of. Is like there's just like this unearned
Yeah.
like praise that they lots of times get.
Yeah, well, I mean, they talked about like he's studied and kind of trained. Like he does talk about that. We don't
Yeah.
see it, but we got to take his word that he actually worked hard to do it, to get to where he is today. But he still was humble about it. He was like, "Well, I mean, I dabble and I train that kind of thing." But I don't know. I am very interested to see where the direction goes for this character. But I see what you're saying. Like he could end up in the insufferable
Like
plot
he's
armor,
all of a sudden the strongest person there or something like that.
Which,
like those kind of moments.
Knowing who his lineage is, it's possible. It is.
Yeah.
So, I get what you're saying. I that's one way they could fall off the cliff rapidly. So
Lasan Al Gaib.
there you go.
Yeah, dude. I feel you, Amato. I guess now I think about it, like he just had all that information, like you know. And, and maybe she is like a really popular person, but I guess that's a fair point. Well, anyways, we know we're almost done here, but you know we've got the coven, and again, you kind of get why it could have been the coven of chaos the way they've done this so far. But yeah, what are we expecting is going to come next?
I think at some point they're going to get to a part on the road where they're going to be stopped and Agatha is going to have to swallow her pride and somehow get in contact with Aubrey Plaza's character to make her to actually complete the coven that was supposed to be like actually there. You know?
Okay.
Because I think that's going to be a huge part of it because like they got all the names and those names were there for a reason. It wasn't just she made up a whole bunch of people. It was, it was divination. It was.
Did you catch the last name that was written? Like I tried to. Look
I
at
didn't
it,
quite
but
get it
yeah,
either.
It had to have been Aubrey Plaza. That's why she ate it. That's why she got rid of it.
100%. Like it has to be that. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why she would? Well, there could have been another reason why it was that, but like she fit the spot that was, everything that was they were talking about made the sense for that being her character. And why else would she be there unless,
right?
That was happening.
I love how the divination witch will just like randomly like come to like she's like being tormented.
Oh
by
yeah,
something.
she does like Tourette's, right?
Yeah,
She's
like kind of like Tourette's. Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Deadpool, like Thor. Like when he wakes up, like, God of Thunder.
right.
Yeah, it's like it's filling that old school like trope of the possession type thing where like oh I'm out of the body, like those moments, except that it's actually happening instead of just somebody playing around,
right?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm actually interested to see where this goes. Like as of right now, I'm like slightly above, like watchable. Like that's where I'm at right now.
I'm definitely in.
So I'm hopeful that this like because Catherine Hahn, she has a lot of like power behind her like performances. So I'm very interested to see if she can carry it the rest of the way.
Yeah,
it's funny you said that because she's got no power.
yeah. I mean, I think it would be really interesting to see. Like I said at the beginning, can she carry a show? Like, because I think that's one of the biggest questions with her. I don't question her acting ability. She is incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
But everything that I've seen her in, she's always been like a supporting actress.
Yeah.
Even going into WandaVision, she was a supporting actress.
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, freaking hilarious in Step Brothers.
Yep.
Phenomenal in Step Brothers. Like everything she's been, like she's always just super great comedic actor, and it'll be interesting. Can she like have the chops to take on a leading role in maybe not a serious show, but like. Not everything has to be a joke in this moment for her, whereas before, like, she can kind of play
Especially
that.
it feels like there's a ton of danger and threat on this road.
Yeah, correct. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
Okay. Well, I will say also this is the second. So WandaVision and then this both have, like, catchy songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Agatha All Along, like the song from WandaVision, and now this, the Witch's Road song.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think somebody pointed out to me. I think it was actually Chuck. He said that like there was like a rumor article going around. Like the WandaVision was part 1, Agatha All Along as part 2, and then like Vision Quest is supposed to like make this like trilogy of Westview or something like that. Like it's gonna be Yeah.
Nah.
So
That'd be
because the Vision
interesting.
Quest is gonna happen. So
Yeah.
like.
It'd be
So, yeah,
interesting.
I think it was Chuck, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
shout out Chuck for that one.
Also, there was a
All right.
name Nicholas Scratch was dropped during
true.
the
Yep.
when it was like that child's room,
Yeah.
which was a little odd in my opinion.
Because
But
who is Scratch? I remember the rabbit from, or the bunny from season 1.
yes,
Senior Scratch.
Nicholas Scratch is another like superpowered entity in the Marvel universe. I don't know a whole lot about him, but it's
Yeah.
another like is similar like magic related, generally a villain.
Yeah.
From what I remember correctly.
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
All right. Well, we will be back to review episode 3 of Agatha All Along next week. So please return to check that out. I want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening. Follow us on social media at Royal Geek Pod, and also leave us a review on Apple, on Google, on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to the pod. Leave us a review, share this podcast with your friends, and be sure to come back next week. With all that in mind, from my good friends Sandy and Shamato, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you witches.